So it's around that time. So it's around 3 p.m. So if you do your calculations, you are going to see that Taurus hour is up, Aries' hour is up, Taurus is up, Gemini is up. Then we have Cancer time is up. So it's Leo time. So it's time to express yourself before we go into Virgo. So since it's Leo time, and I have my moon in Leo, that means I don't shy away from any subject. Okay? It doesn't matter. I don't shy away from any subject. And I can speak about any subject that I want. So I have a question for you. What is the role of the UN when you have children being made to dance to drums of war? I mean, we can have drums of war, like in the African communities, we used to have the drums of war sounding so you knew that something was in the air. Okay? In African context, a lot of your African context, because a lot of your African history is all wrong. We used to have what you call war masks in Africa, meaning that sometimes we'd go to war not to fight, but to scare each other away. AKA, we'd go to the war, but not to fight. We'll be scaring each other away. We'll be like, okay, so let's go pretend. So for example, let's say the African warriors were winning some war. So when they'd be winning some war, they would pretend that they are going to drink some water to allow the enemy to escape, so that the enemy can go and reproduce or live to fight another day, aka what you call retreating. Now, since we have bodies like the UN, we have so many bodies that are supposed to be coming in between wars, but then again, it's like some countries are special than others. Okay, so we can allow them to misbehave. But the question is, are they above the law, or is there something that you cannot see? Is this something that you cannot see, or are they above the law, or what really is happening on the ground? Because I really like to, know what you think about the whole thing, because we know what is happening on the ground, and a lot of people don't. I also want to ask yourself, how comes we have better pictures now of some people being made to dance, so the Palestinians are being made to dance, and we have better pictures than when the Ukrainians were being made to dance? Like in the last 5 days, ask yourself this, in the last 5 days, you have better footage of the war, you have more of that on your screen than you had between Russia and Ukraine. I also want to ask you another question. How comes when there's this war, the reporters are usually always positioned in the position whereby a missile has to land behind them? Because let's say there's a war going on and you're going to cover some war because maybe you're a journalist or something. How comes it's always their channels, it's always their Foxes, it's always their CNNs, it's always their, for lack of a better word, their CBCs that always seem to capture when the missiles are falling? Those are some of the questions you should be asking yourself. Okay? Now, welcome to Sun in Leo, aka the tribe of Judah. And so if you want to know the characteristics of the day, all you have to do is go and read the tribe of Judah and how they behaved in the day. And now you know how to behave between 2 and 4 p.m. So go and ask your theologians why they had to go to school for 30 years, but they cannot tell you that. You're supposed to behave like Yahweh. So what was the God of, or what was Yahweh doing? That is how you behave between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. You're supposed to be behaving like the Canaanites or the Baal in the Bible between 8 and 10. You're supposed to be behaving like Sodom and Gomorrah between 10 and 12. Between 12 and 2, you're supposed to be behaving, or that is the time starts what you are calling Noah's Ark na vitu kama hizo. So for the first few minutes, of course, I'll be just preparing your mind for what is coming. It's also a good time so that we can have the serial scrollers go past. Okay, we have so many people who have small minds who call them serious scrollers, you can't blame them. So now, I bet now we can start the conversation maybe. So, every war that you see on your screen, every major conflict that you see on your screen, keyword on your magical mirrors, keyword on your black mirrors, keyword on their global magical mirrors, aka your computers, your TVs, and your phones, because this is how they get to you. Okay, this is how they tell you. Okay, now every time you see that, remember, they want you to pay attention. The only reason they show you war, the only reason they are showing you dead people is because they want you to pay attention to that. They want you to stop whatever you are doing. And so they also know that when you're in fear, you pay attention. So they want you to pay attention to something. Okay? But you're missing the point. A few years back, I can't exactly remember when, but you can go into your history channels and confirm. There was what you call the Pearl Harbor. So the Pearl Harbor is when they bombed the Japanese people to silence. I'm working on the maize. Before Ushino nafanya nini, I'm working on the maize. We had the crops coming from the shamba, so the ones that we are going to do unga, we prefer if they pass through my own hands. Okay, this one has to pass through my hands, because food is magical like that. So now, when they invaded the Pearl Harbor in Japan, they used something to make them behave. If you go to Japan today, they are an economic giant in one way, shape or another. They seem to not be invaded. In Japan, they don't even carry guns in public. In Japan, the police don't even shoot people, because that is how bad or how hard they learned their lessons. So every time you flatten a city, every time you bomb everything or you burn everything to the ground, the people will always rise, just like your phoenix rising. Okay, the people will always rise. What do I mean? We have forest fires, and remember what we talked about this. So as above, so below. Everything we are doing because we are learning from nature. So when you go to the Amazon, or when you're looking in nature, you will discover that every time we have a fire in the jungle, the fire burns everything in the jungle. But then what happens? We have rejuvenation. We have new crops. We have new trees. We have new seedlings. We have a rejuvenation, or what you can call a rebuilding or a rebirth in that land. There are some people who rule the world and they control the world. So they practice their rituals hardest. They practice the as above, so below, harder than you. For example, we know that the sun is in Libra. So the moon will be leaving Libra in the next 2 to 3 days, moving into what you call Scorpio. So this is a time of connecting. This is a time, so Scorpio is the fixated water sign. So it's about emotions and feelings, being fixated in your emotions and feelings. That is why in your local markets, they are going to give you Black Friday. They are going to give you sales because they want to be connected to you. So when you buy a spoon, they are going to attach with some sellotape. Maybe you buy a spoon, they are going to attach a shoe. Buy one, get one free. So everything in the supermarket will be buy one, something is attached. If you buy a condom, it is going to come attached to a radio or remote or something silly like that, because they are practicing as above, so below, the sun being in Scorpio, the fixated emotions and feeling sign, aka you are the one who's following the Gregorian calendar. We are in the 7th month. We are just about to go into the 8th month. But then again, since you follow the Gregorian calendar, maybe you have to remind you now. Now, every time as a community, I'll give you an example. I'll even start and prepare your mind even better than before. Every time that you want to start something new, for example, in Gikomba, what do? You burn Gikomba down. Then, after a few days, you burn Gikomba down. So you burn it down to the point those people have no option but to relocate. And then what do? Now you can come and put a 10-story building with what you can call a basement and new buildings. If you want people to move from Toy Market, what do? You burn Toy Market. You raise it to the ground 1, 2, 3 times. Then what happens? Now you can come and claim the land and put up new shops. If you want the people of Kibera to move, what do? All you have to do is start a fire in Kibera, a major serious fire. Let the people rebuild. Start another fire. They are going to rebuild. At that time, they are not going to rebuild. So they move. So every time, you know, I like when people come to my page. This page is not about pondering on these kind of subjects. So when you go to Kibera, which is in Nairobi, and they want you to relocate, so what do? They burn the market to the ground. They burn it to ashes. When you go to Gikomba, the other market, if you want people to move, what do? You burn it to the ground. When you go to the bushes, you want to start something new, what do? You raise the forest to the ground and then you plant your crops. Okay? So every time you see a war going on in any location, is about relocating those people or killing their morale to the point they rather not rebuild. So now you can move in and build for them. Now you can move in and set up shop for them. Now they can come and maybe rent the shops. Okay? Now they can come in and maybe take the stalls. They can come in and hire some shelves now in what you have set up. Okay? So it's always good to be open-minded and looking at things from a different, what you can call, angle. Or angel. Or whatever you want to call it. Okay? So you can pray for them all you want, but it seems like you are praying to a dead God. How comes that with all your prayers, nothing seems to happen? Nothing seems to be happening. How comes that the people who pray the most suffer the most, starting with you Africans? How comes you are the most prayerful people in the continent, yet you seem to suffer the most? You are sitting on gold. You used to bury your loved one with gold. You are sitting on cobalt mines. Now what do we call them? You are sitting on, what do you use to make these stupid phones? All these deposits are under your feet, all these blood diamonds, but you seem to be suffering the most. The reason being, because you don't know how to build. So since you are sitting on the gold, someone has to come, take the gold, go refine it, then sell it to you 10 times the prices, 100 times the prices, because you don't know how to produce the gold. So you are sitting on the diamonds, but you don't know how to process the diamonds. So you are sitting on oil, Niger Delta, in what you call Nigeria, the most populous nation in Nigeria. Shout out to our brothers, Ogao, our Nigerian brothers. But you need a company like Shell to come and refine the fuel for you. So the problem is not the people attacking you. The problem is not the people going to war with you. The problem is the people sitting on these deposits, sitting on these resources, and you can't do shit about it. So it's so that your president has now signed into law that your organizations can now be privatized, aka your power generating company is now open for sale, aka anyone who has the money, and remember, there's no money. Money is made up. So all we need to do is come up with a group of people, if you have enough resources, create a corporation. Remember, corporations run the world. Your country is not run by your president. Corporations run the world. I'll give you an example in your country, Kenya, before you say, oh, what is he talking about? If today Safaricom stopped operating, most of you would be dead. Some of you in hospital will not be admitted because you cannot pay through M-Pesa. Okay? If today Shell as a company or Total, they decide to close shop, you cannot move because there'll be no one to sell you fuel. If today, okay, a company like KPLC was to shut down, none of you would operate. You cannot charge your phone, you cannot access internet, so you are the mercy of corporations. And then the corporations pay the most taxes to your government. So your government is at the mercy of these corporations. Okay? Your government is there to spend money. There's no government that knows how to make money. All the government can do is spend money, buy new cars, after a few years, light them at 249, sell them at 20,000 a piece, through corruption and all that. So your government is not there to make money. So the government does not run you. You are run by corporations. Now the government runs the media. Now the media shits on you. So everything you do is a result of what the media is telling you. So the media shits on you, and the corporation shits in the government's mouth. That is how things run on the ground. So before you come thinking that your government is charged, your government is not in charge of anything. Zero. Now, who are these corporations now that we are talking about? So these corporations will be the families that own the most shareholders of these corporations. And what is a corporation? A piece of paper that has what you can call a promissory note. That this group of people in these corporations are worth $10 billion. AKA, when you look at their assets, their lands, whatever they are doing, they are worth $10 billion. So they can come to your country. The other day, you were fooled in Kenya. The other day, all the Kenyans were like, oh my God, we have so much insecurity in Kenya. Oh my God, you can't walk in Nairobi. People are getting stabbed and everything. That was a distraction. When everyone was distracted with how safe Nairobi was or how unsafe Nairobi was, we didn't even have like 20 people die. What happened? There was a man who came into your country and the Gulanu Kalalu project was given to him. So he came in, and there was talk about you eating some food that was being modified in some lab and everything. But all of you missed the point. That was not the point. That was a distraction. So now, again, what have you done? You have privatized a lot of your company. Your president has signed into law a clause that allows corporation, aka the who's in the world. You saw them shaking hands. You saw your president shaking hands with the devil. You saw your president shaking hands with Zelensky, someone who's at war. People who have blood on their hands is who your president was shaking hands with. Your president was shaking hands with Biden. Your prayerful president who's always in Israel, whose wife was going to invite Benehin. So the president, your first lady, is traveling using your taxpayers' money to go and invite preachers to come and pray for you. Not for you to get out of your asses and work. Yet you say that Lake Victoria has the biggest freshwater deposits in the world. Yeah? Which movie are you going to watch? The 7 Deadly Sins. You can watch it in your laptop. Go and take the flash drive from the car.
No, not to measure charge picture.
Where's your charger? See the charger in the bedroom, in your mom's bedroom. Go and charge the laptop. Sindio?
I don't know it.
Because the one it is not going to show in the car. The movie will not see in the car. The format will not work in the car.
Why?
Go and try. You won't even see it, but you can see it on the computer. I think it's MK4 or MP4 or something. Haitacheza kwa gari, but it can play in your computer. Go and try in the car. Keys iko wapi? I think the cars are in the key, or the keys are in the car, or whichever comes first. So now, so what happens is this. So your president, who's been shaking hands with the devil, has already sold your country, aka you are thinking they were just shaking hands. Some of you are calling him a sellout. He's talking about selling police and things to go and do what nonsense in Haiti. But that was just a distraction, because right now most of your parastatals have been sold to anyone who has the money to come into your country, aka they are being privatized. So what happens with privatization? If I buy a company, I run it any way I want. Meaning, a lot of the Chinese are going to bring in their own laborers. You can hate all you want, you can protest all you want, but the Chinese are coming into your country. Anyone who's going to buy Kenya Power, what are they going to say? They are going to say these booga booga, Caucasoids, Negroids, okay, with their phenotypes, with their thick skulls. We can still continue ruling them. We can continue our slavery on them, updated. So what are they going to do? They're going to come into your country with their own workers. So you're going to have company that is not employing domestic workers. So in one signature, your president has fired your old grandfathers and grandmothers and aunties. All those old people in those parastatals have just been fired. So you can go crying in church. You can go, of course, you love praying. Africans are known for praying. You can go praying for your jobs to come back, while your president just privatized more than 6 companies. So anyone who buys them, they can pretend, oh, you know, once you buy them, you have to employ the locals. But your president is busy telling you that he's signing agreements to send your children to go and work in Saudi Arabia. But what are they going to work? What kind of work are they going to do in Saudi Arabia? Slavery. Because Saudi Arabia is not going to hire black people as think tanks. Go and sit down. Look at who is building Saudi Arabia. Look at the top people there, the top thinkers. They are not black people there. So all those youth that your president is saying that they are going to send 100,000 youths to go and work in Saudi Arabia, it will be slavery. Okay. Now, you have the wrong starting point even when it comes to slavery. You think that all the people, because you are given a story, you are told, oh, slaves were sold into Europe. Really? Were they sold into Europe, or did they go willingly? While when I look today, every time I'm in the airport, I see people willingly go to slave abroad. I see them willingly go to work. They collect money, 300,000 to pay an agent fee and a plane ticket, to send their women, their girls, to go and become domestic workers, slaves, to be cleaning shit and washing old people's asses. Okay? Yet they could take that 200,000 and sink a 100,000 shillings well in their compound, then use the other 100,000 shillings to put a solar pump and farm on their lands. But what are you doing, Africans? You are selling your lands to the Chinese. You are selling your most arable land, red soil, and then you go to buy Esinya, the deserts. So you are selling your lead soil in Ruaka, cutting down the coffee plantations and the tea, and you are putting up apartments. But who's affording those apartments? The Chinese, the white people, because you're not going to tell me that you can afford 100,000 shillings rent. $1,000 rent is out of reach for most of you. But those are the apartments in Kilimani. Those are the apartments in Ruaka. So what do? Africans, who pray the most. So what are you going to say now that your president has sold off most of your companies, and they are going to fire most of your aunties and uncles who are not even qualified for those jobs in the first places, because they were given those jobs as handouts, because they knew who was who during the civil servants. Now, your children's computer money was looted. No one went to jail. Nothing happened to them. The whole world is coding in the world of technology. All the other children in the world are coding, but your children are busy sweeping the streets. Your children are busy visiting police stations. That is CBC for you. Go to the police station today and report in the evening what you saw in the police station. Like, a police station is a very important thing to be in a curriculum. AKA plantation officers, people to keep you in check, people to correct you, people to put you in jail. You really have to start questioning the type of leadership you celebrate. Because in reality, you actually don't even need these people. The people who should be running these countries are busy cutting hair. The people who should be your women representatives are the people who are busy making hairs in the salons, making nails, not those flower girls that you vote to go and dance and sit in the lap of these politicians, not leaders. Because what you have is politicians, you don't have leaders. So stop calling them leaders, because these are puppets, politicians. The deals they sign, they don't even have an idea what they are signing into. They have no idea the hands they are shaking. They have no idea. They are doing it for the cameras. They think that because they have the mulatto syndrome, they like licking the white people's asses. So they'd rather be seen shaking hands with the white people because they think that is what is achievements. And any president who goes against that, people like the presidents in Haiti and Tanzania, you don't see them anymore. So you can only tell that those people are there for a reason. And that reason is not you. So we can keep talking about that. We can keep complaining. We can keep saying, oh, these leaders, but that will not help. So now, what will help? One of the things that can help you and help your future generations is questioning everything. Because the problem we have is you don't question everything. Everything you see on TV, you think that is what it is. So right now, a million eyeballs, a few billion eyeballs are all glued onto God's people. They call themselves the God's people. But which God are we talking about? Because we seem to have a different God on this world. It seems they follow a different God because their God is above the law. I think their God is the law. Because they seem to be above the UN. They seem to be above all these bodies that you have that seem to be keeping peace. So when it comes to some people being made to, dance to drums of war, some people are immune to that. Okay? They call themselves the chosen, God's chosen people. But who choose them? That is the question. That is the question you should be asking yourself. Who choose them? Because if God didn't come to talk to you and tell you, okay, I've chosen these people to be overall, who choose them? So what is it that they seem to be doing that you're not doing? And they seem to be succeeding? Because there's something, when you look at them, they are practicing something which you are not, and it's making them who they are. When you look at them, we don't have churches in their land. We don't have people, doing what we call having mega churches in their land. But you do have these kind of things in your land. So what seems to be happening? Who seems to be doing the wrong thing? Okay? Let me take this video call really quickly. Declined this. Yeah, declined. So let me see what's your comments about. Shout out to the soul group. I see them in the space, living free. Jenga na Jenga crew. I see all of you. Before I even dive into this on a deeper level, because I haven't even started. I was watching Flight Boost speaking about this, and it was timely. So I said, okay, let me just come in and also add on to that. There's nothing like calling on a foreign god. There's nothing like a foreign god. Mimi, since I'm in diaspora, I changed my mindset about religion. I'm a believer of Odoirevito. That's true. The same way you're really I could never forever team underdog, but the thing is so many of our African people don't want to know the truth. My kids, Masana. What is the solution then? Their God is chaotic. Someone is saying African people are the only ones you would tell that the white Jesus. That's beside the point. Now, let me see. We haven't even gone live with. We're almost going into the sun is almost leaving Libra, and we haven't even gone live with some of you people. So I'm going to invite someone to go live to it together, and maybe you can have a conversation with. Okay, don't see him. I don't see him. I wanted to invite, leave him free. So now, the reason, I don't even think, should I be telling you the reason? The reason, let's say you go to a town. Let's say you go to a town. The only reason, yeah, most people are with that because of the Bible, because they think that is their country. That is how stupid Africans can be. You think that that nation has got everything to do with your God because you are given a God of the Bible, some religion. Yet those people don't even follow the Bible. They don't even follow Christianity. Those people follow their own rituals and spells that they do, and they practice them the hardest. So, let's say you go to a town. Let's say you go to Remuru. And in Remuru you find an old building. Now this building has some of the best shops. So the building is at the corner. So the building, all the four corners, you can access the building. Maybe the building corner, so both faces of the building can be put into shop. But every time you look at that shop, it's always closed. There's always a sign saying duka imefungwa. Instead of them having high-end shops, you have kiosks. So you go to that town and you tell them, hey, naweza taka kuhaya hii duka and set up shop here. And then those people, what do they tell you? Hatuwezi kupea hii duka tuliachiwa na babu yetu, hauwezi chukua hii duka. So those will be the Palestinians and their lands. These lands who are belonging to us. These things you cannot take over, you cannot come and start. So these people, they go back to their land. They start growing flowers in the desert. They have such a big budget. They are doing the most. Then they come to the same town and they look at the people, and the people have their palms like this, begging for reparations, begging for independence, begging to be given dimes, begging to be... So these people, they look at these people like God. So they go and they talk to their God. Remember, they say that they are children of God. So they go to their God and they talk to their God and they say, God, look here, God. There's some land there that we can turn into gold. But the people who are living on that land, they are not doing anything with that land. They are just like the people in Congo. They are just like the people in Africa. They are just the people, okay? So what do we do, God? And then so they go and they sit down and then they decide. So God tells them, because they are God, they play God. So they decide, okay, how about we go and we flatten that city? We make sure we flatten it, send it back 50 years. So the only thing now they can do is they are going to need us to rebuild. So now we can go and rebuild for them and set up the rules. So the war you are seeing, okay, that's not a war. That's people who sit back and they look at some people who have the most, but I'm not doing anything. So they have the most, but they are doing the bare minimum. So they can decide to go there and, plug their water. It may seem worse, it may seem very brutal because children are dying or they are pouring cement into their wells and everything. But to them, they are doing God's work because remember, they are God's chosen people. So it happened in Japan, and now Japan is very vibrant. China cannot be attacked because China is very vibrant. Russia cannot be attacked because Russia is very vibrant. Congo can be attacked because Congos are always still fighting. Somali can be attacked because they still haven't gotten anything in check. They are still fighting. South Sudan or Sudan can be attacked, or they can always have skirmishes there as they take the fuel or the oil because they still cannot agree to live as one people. So the Dinkas and the Nuer are still fighting. So these people, they sit back and if these people cannot decide, why don't we start something there, and then when they are busy, we can get the resources. Ndio mnasemanga hapa Kenya, fahari wawili wakipigana, nyasi inaumia. So it has got nothing to do with God. The only God it has to do with is their God. It's their worldview. So this world has got its own God, the God of war. So wewe ndio ujui venye kunaenda, but you can keep praying for them. That is the only thing you love doing. Africans, you love praying for people. Keep them in your prayers, thinking your prayers are going to help. Your prayers don't even go above 1 foot. They are useless. Because of all the years you've been praying for those nations, they are still fighting. Of all the prayers you have been doing, prayer breakfast meetings and everything in Kenya, your president can still wake up and sell whole parastatals so that your aunties can be fired and your uncles can be fired and all of you can go back to your state of always begging. Oh, tunaomba serikali ingilie. Oh, tunaomba serikali. You are not included in their plans. And the moment you realize this and open your eyes and learn how to build by coming together, not hating. Even when I speak like this, I know most of you don't like me. I know most of you are haters. You're just watching for the sake of hating. You know, you don't like building. You don't even like coming together. If I had a white skin, I'd be at 100,000 likes. I'd be having like 2,000 people watching me because I had a white skin. But because there's someone who looks like you, who's reminding you, you hate that. But I don't care. You can hate all you want. Okay? You can hate all you want. I'm building my mind. I'm not even building my mind for this world. I'm building my mind for the next world. Fuck this world and its beliefs. I don't really care. I'm not even attached to anything of this world. Everything in this world I use. I'm here to use everything, not get attached to anything. So I have no feelings. Siwezi catch feelings for an Israel or a country that is being flattened to the ground. I feel nothing for them. The same way I feel nothing for your president firing your aunties and uncles because he has been shaking hands with people he have no idea about because he's given a title. President of a republic. Presidents run countries the same way a prefect runs a dormitory. There are people above you who he has to agree or dance to, who are beyond you. So your votes don't count. If they counted, if your votes meant anything, then you'd never change the system. The fact that every 5 years you have to change the system means the system does not work because this system is a lie. Because it was created to be like that. It was created to be changed. Just like your education is a lie. That is why your fathers went to Form 6. That is why you went to 844. That is why now you have 566. That is why you are going to have 744. That is why every time it has to be adjusted. It has to be changed during or going to the worldview. What is happening? Everything that you believe you know about is a lie. Everything you believe in is a lie. Everything is a lie. Everything is a lie because it was meant to be a lie from the word go. Why would you have the UN with people sitting in those offices while children are dying? It's because those offices are not for you. That's a lie. That's a front. All that Red Cross, that's a lie. That's not for you. All those bodies, all those things, they are not for you. They are serving a bigger cause and you are not invited. Shout out to the gods of America. There's a scene, I think it's, well, if you're watching American Gods, Season 1, Episode 2, I believe it's Episode 2, where they start with coming to America, where they start with the scene in the slave ships. And so this guy is telling them that you are going to be sold into slavery for years and years. And so this guy is advising them, you should burn this ship and die with the ship because you are going to be slaves for the rest of your lives. In the same scene, there's a guy who's saying, but if we burn the ship, aren't we going to burn with the ship? That's your argument, Africans. If we change the leadership, aren't we going to suffer with the leadership? You are fucked. In all ways. You are doomed if you do, and you are doomed if you don't. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I think the best side to be is to be on the side of people who are awake. At least have some lube when they are giving it to you instead of getting it the hard way. You'd rather be there knowing, okay, the system is about to do this to me, but I'm prepared. I have my KY jelly, so it's not going to be so hard on you. So it may be easier on you. But the fact remains, you cannot escape from it until the day you learn how to work like it by coming together as an individual. What you call spirituality, individuality. So let's see if there's anything, any question or someone is saying most Kenyans okay, jenga ukiota ukitahirishwa na hata ukuwekwa nguati inaminaje. Please tell us about Maat. John Tewanez anasema the same Israel and sit and watch it play out. Fact only. And the JKA, they tend to treat white people better than their own. But who are treating them better? It's your own black people. We don't have white people treating white people better when they come home. It's your sister who's employed at the airport. It's your brother who's employed there. It's your father who's sitting at those Kenya Airports Authority offices. It is them who treat them better because they have the mulatto syndrome. You see, white people did a good one on you. The white man's demon is really deeply embedded into you, black people. So that is going to take generations to get out of because you're not doing anything. For example, after this life, if you Google black children swimming, the first result that is going to come up will be why black people cannot swim, why black children cannot swim. And the next one, the third result or the fourth one will be a white child diving 90 meters with no oxygen or something to that effect. But there's no one to blame for that. It's just the fact that you do not put enough content out there to counter their content. So it's always the white people who are taking cameras to take pictures of their children swimming because they love their children. You don't love your children. You hate your children. You can't wait for your children to get out of school so that you can give them the phone, so that you don't have to read them up, so that you don't have to hug them. You give them the TV. You don't show them love. So you don't even have content that you can upload. You're afraid of even getting on the internet. You're even afraid of getting on YouTube. You're afraid of how people are going to judge you. So you can't even blame them. You get on the internet right now, get on YouTube. What are your children watching? They are watching Flippy. They are watching Baby Shaturu Turu Tutu Baby Shaturu Turu, and you are there dancing with the child. You are the first one to put it for your child. Dama Shaturu Turu. You are the first one to do it. But yet on the same application, you can look for black content creators for children. You can look for Akili. You can look, but you don't look for that. So you are the ones to blame. Before you even cast stones, look at yourself in the mirror. You are to blame for everything that is happening to you. Starts with you. You cannot keep running away from these things. Oh, our white people are being... It's you. It's you. Go with your phone to Kibera right now. Go with your iPhone to Kibera right now. Go taking pictures. See if you are going to come out of the other side with your phone. Now, let a white man go to Kibera with cameras worth 10 million shillings. He's going to walk from Line Sabah. He's going to come out of Langata taking pictures, and they'll be waving, hey Muzungu, they'll be waving at him, hi. You go try taking a picture with your phone on someone who looks like you. Wewe unanipiga picha nini? Umbwa wewe, futa hiyo picha, shoga wewe, unaenda kuuza picha. That's your people. So the problem is you, not the white people. You hate anything that looks like you. Cannot escape this. You hate anything that looks like you. Because of how you build up your minds. You don't know how to build up your minds. Your minds are built up for you. They are shaped for you. Mzungu akienda Kibera saizi atasindikishwa mpaka the other side for free. There will be youth men. You go try to attack a white person in Kibera. Youth men are going to beat you up and call you a thief. You go try to shoot anything in Kibera right now without police. See how fast they stone you. See how fast they take your cameras. See how good that witchcraft worked on you, whereby you hate yourselves as black people. See how fast they attack you. So you have no one to blame. You do not share your content. No one is sharing this live. I only have 5 people who have shared this live. Only 5 people. I've had people coming here, 50, 60. They cannot share the live. If I was a white person, they would have shared this live. It's shameful. Shame on you. All of you. Shame on you. You can't blame it on God. You can't blame it on anyone else. It's you. It's you. The buck stops with you. There's no content. You don't create any content. You don't consume even your content. You consume Kungungbagia. It's subtitled. It's a shame that you're watching Indian movies. Kungungbagia, translated in your languages. It's a shame that even with your phones you cannot create your own content. It's a shame that you have a whole films board. It's a shame. And you can even tell your governor, whatever, Alfred Mutua, it's a shame that you can't even do anything when it comes to the film industry. It's a shame that you don't have your own content. It's a shame that when you tune into your TV programs, Kameme TV, you are seeing children making phone calls or making wanachukua mkebe. They are taking cans, wanaweka uzi. Those are the kind of content you have. Children, TV, national TV. You have children making a telephone, using a string and listening on TV. Hello, can you hear me with a wire? In 2023, hello, in the age of coding, hello. On TV, national TV, hello, can you hear me? That is the content you have on your TV, on your national TV. And someone is getting paid for that. And they are very proud of that. National TV, Toto's Corner. Let's make a kite in 2023. And the middle class who think they know better, they are watching Flippy. Oh, Flippy! Flippy! And Roblox, Flippy! But you are the biggest consumers of garbage. Usiku, TikTok, the biggest consumers of garbage is you. You don't consume anything, but it has been planned like that through the algorithm. I changed my IP address. I bought a US SIM card. I bought a SIM card from the US. I brought it here. I had it brought it to me. I cleared my phone, everything. I factory reset my phone to 0. I didn't even join the Wi-Fi. Then I put in the SIM card. Then I connected to the Wi-Fi. The TikTok that I saw is very different from the TikTok you see. The information they see on their TikToks is very different from the booga booga content that you see on your nigloids, occipital bones, or what you call your phenotypes. The Mongolians, the Eastern people, the people in China and Asia, the Mongolians, the Mongoloids, the content they see on their TikTok is technology. It's farming. Their children are in farming. Their children are learning how to graft things. The TikTok you consume in Africa is Nyako. That is the best TikTok that you can consume. You even call her your TikTok queen. Your TikTok queen. Your members of parliament, those are the people you follow. You are TikTok queens. You go to other people TikToks, it's farming. Those are their kings when it comes to farming. It's weather solutions. It's how to divert rivers without suffocating the people downstream. It's keeping fish. But when it comes to you, your queen of TikTok is bullshit. So you have no one else to blame but yourselves. You complain, oh unga, oh tunakula aflatoxins. You have your own maize. You don't cultivate your own maize. It's a shame that I have to buy a packet of seed for 800 shillings, and this is the maize that I can get. This is the biggest maize cob. This maize cob is not even the size of my dick. This is the biggest maize cob I'm getting from those farms. But I'm buying the seed. Again, while you are sleeping, your government passed a law, it is illegal to share seeds. So what happened to when you go to the shamba and get the biggest pieces of maize cob and keep them for the next harvest? And choose the biggest for the next harvest. Now every harvest you have to go to the shop, some genetically modified maize cob that gives you this as the biggest cob. This maize cob is the size of my son's dick. It's a shame. But hapa ni kelele. Oh, you know, you don't know shit. Now you can eat the GMO modified yellow maize. Your president is very proud. We have put in place a way whereby we can now import yellow maize, food for horses, and you are cheering and clapping there. Oh, president, hustler, bottoms up, yellow maize. Like you have drought, and you are sitting on the equator, the best soils in the world, but you are cheering. You are very proud of that. As an individual. We are not talking about Kenyans. I'm talking to you as an individual. So the next time you are going to the shop, to buy some maize cob, think twice. Ask your neighbor, do you have some maize? Like the biggest maize cobs that I saw you had a good crop. Can you just spare me just 10 pieces, please? I need to plant. That's brains now. Siaturaha da bebereko, napanda 510. Unapanda 510. After all that waiting, this is the biggest piece of maize you are getting. What is this now? What is this? This size of piece of maize. This is the size of our women's clit. This sasa ni mahindi. Naweza sema imetoka kwa shamba. The same way they pass laws, you can't share your seed. It's the same now they are passing laws to sell your companies. Now where will your auntie go? Where will your auntie go? Where will your uncle go when KPLC is sold and the people who buy it, they decide to come with their own expertise? Where will your PhD, uncle, MD go? Ataenda kupata kazi wapi? Where are all these cheap university students that you are producing? Where will they go to work when these people buy these parastatals and they come with their own workforce? So mundakuwa manual laborers. So it will be the same thing. You went to university, you are working a conveyor belt. Kazi yako ni kupack tu with your PhD. All you are doing is packing in your own country. The company is not even yours. And then 5 years down the line, you go voting again. Oh, mtu wetu. Oh, mtu wetu. Our person. Oh, we are voting. You will have to wake up. You are going to wake up or you are going to perish. And you are going to perish with your children. Good riddance to you and your seeds that you are bearing. Even the Bible says that the fruit that does not bear fruits should be cut down. And that is what is happening in Palestine. And I'm ending this live. Let me see if there's one more question. Nithayo, Degwa Esther. Inviting American pastors to pray for Kenya. Yeah, those are your first ladies. Instead of a first lady coming up with an invention or something because they have all the resources to change the girls' lives and things like that. Instead of having a whole... And don't even blame your pastors. Don't even blame your first lady. She's doing what she does best. I went to Buruburu the other day. I saw a Catholic church worth billions of shillings. You could have built a company. All that money you took to the Romans, all that money you were giving to the Romans, you could have built a factory where you could have employed all the youth in Donholm and Buruburu in those factories. But you built a church. I saw another church being built next to my neighborhood. So the problem is not them. The problem is that you Africans, you have the slave mentality. You like asking. You like begging for reparations. You have always said that you are slaves. You have always claimed that you want your 5 acres and a mule. You have always say that you are sons of the Mau Mau. You never want to do anything for yourself. That's the problem. No one wants to do anything about their own ass. No one wants to do their own shadow work. No one wants even to know who they are. So you are told who you are. This is your name. Okay. This is the position you fill in the government. Okay. You are a fireman. Okay. You are a police officer. Okay. So you have become okay. You are the okay people. You are going to come and take your land. Okay. Once you have some activists, they are given a few coins, they look at their family, they look at you, they can't help you. And shout out to Boniface Mwangi. Shout to him. He's an old friend of mine. He couldn't even help you. He tried to help you. He was heckling Kibaki. You laughed at him. You told him he was paid. So he gave up on you. Now look at his life now. His children are going to international schools. Maybe would have helped you improve your schools. Yes? Which movie are you watching? Which movie?
How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon. After that movie, that is enough screen for the day. Nisa? Yeah. No more screen today. Okay. Okay? So that's the reality. These are the conversations we should be having. Not you cheering for Akina CS Kuria. Those people will not change your life in any way, shape, or form. JJ Kamodo never changed the lives of these people. Mativa never changed the life of the people. They did nothing for their people. And this other worship of people who are old and dead. Why worshiping Kirema? Why worshiping Modoni Kirema? She's not a heroine. She's a failure. She got her hair shaven. The moment her hair was cut, that is when she stopped being a hero. So you can't go celebrating her. What has she done for you? You like associating with misery. You like associating with pain and weakness. Now you are following Gogewa Thiongo. What is Gogewa Thiongo doing for you in the US? He's not doing anything. Why don't you look for real walking warriors, heroes in the flesh who are changing your lives? Those are the people you should be caring about. Those are the murals you should be having on your walls. Now that Gogewa Thiongo is old, now you are celebrating him, blessing him with water. What a shame. Claiming that you could not take Muratina to the US. You don't need to take Muratina to the US. All you need to take is the things there and you go prepare it there. In 3 days it will be ready. It's a shame that you're representing culture. Afu unasema ati tutakubaliki na maji hatuna pombe in the US. What is wrong with you? It's your culture. Unabeba Muratina. Unaenda huko unanunua miwa huko, unafinya miwa huko, unatengeneza Muratina 3 days. You use the right things. Now you are claiming you are warriors up and you are blessing someone with water. Always falling for weakness. No one is thinking out the box. Gogewa Thiongo is not my hero. At all. I have no respect for him. He can live for 100 years with white hairs. He has changed nothing for the white boy or the black boy's ears. He has done nothing for the boy child. So he's not a hero in my eyes. He can write 1,000,000 books. He has not changed my life in any way. Or the boys we see every day. When I look around, I see drunken people everywhere. People who have lost hope. The youth. If you're not changing that, if you're not changing the coming generation, you're not my hero in any way, shape, or form. Shame on you with your books. And shame on you for thinking those are your heroes. Those are not heroes. Those are losers in the biggest way. You can have 90 years. If you don't have wisdom, I have no respect for you. I have more wisdom than you in all ways, shapes, and sizes. Why the lost tribe in Amazon, they don't have church, Bible, Quran, but they have righteousness. You have to swallow the bitter pill. What you have no one to stare to. Shout out to Shining Star for your heart. You made me look for like a cowboy for a bit. What if you have no one to share to? You always have someone to share to. You can share to the people. You can share to the community. Okay? Thinking pizza is healthy. You can indulge. You can eat pizza once in a while. You can indulge in foreign palates. It's always good to taste food made out of other places. Okay? It's true I get Middle Eastern content here on my FYP. I have to search for the content I need. Someone is asking what Nyako amedu. Nyako has done nothing. Instead of teaching their kids mother tongue, they teach them English so as to fit in. You can teach, your mother tongue is not even helping you in any way, shape, or form. It's not even a big issue. It's not about the language. Language, how we created language. You created language, what you call hieroglyphics. Your child may know Kikuyu. Your child may introduce themselves 50 lines. It is not helping us in any way, shape, or form. Does your child have comprehension skills? Can your child code? Because in this world, we care about children who can code, not a child who can introduce themselves and still end up being a slave. Have the wrong starting point on everything. You are arguing for culture. A culture is cultivated out of a cult. Some of your cultures are not here to be respected in any way, shape, or form. Shida ukisema hivyo unasurubishwa man. I don't care. It's a shame. Sahi huwezi hata pata watoto wetu communicating in their mother tongue. Hadi jenga umekasirika na hii story. Yeah, this story it's a shame that even in 2023 we are still arguing about these things. In 2023 you are still saying prayers for these nations. 2023 you are standing with these nations. How about you stand with your own people? How about you stand with your own neighbor now? But you can't stand your neighbor. You hate your neighbors. You live in apartments. You don't even know your next door neighbor. And if there's a fight, you take your phone to record. Yet that is your sister getting battered. You take your phone to record them fighting. That's your sister. That's your brother. You take your phone. That's who you have become. Shout out to everyone sending their roses. What's your take on LGBT community? It's nothing. It's a non-issue. You make it the issue. LGBT is nothing. All these things are called psyops. These are programs that are created to keep you distracted. Who cares what someone does with their ass? If you want to take this and put it in your ass, I don't care. It's your ass. It has got nothing to do with me. The only problem will be when you want it to put inside me. Then we would have a problem. Okay? So LGBT is a program. LGBT, all these things are created to distract you. And you give them meaning. The more energy, remember, where attention goes, energy flows. So you make LGBT what it is. It's nothing. You are the one who's paying it attention. Before the white people came here, we had men sleeping with men. In African content, in our own Kikuyu culture, if a man was sleeping with a man, we'd take them to a field and they would fight to death. One would have to kill the other. Then the one that killed the other, the one that survived, we would kill him. Okay? So it's not something new. Men have always slept with men behind closed doors. But now, they make it important now. The other day I went to some event. Now this is the new thing. Every time now you go to an event, the people who are going to feature more in those pictures event to make it look like a success is the LGBT because they have been funded. You can do whatever you want with your ass. It has got nothing to do with me. So LGBT is a non-issue. And President Kibaki, whoever, this Uhuru was very right. Uhuru said that's a non-issue. And it was truly a non-issue. It was a non-issue. We should not have been discussing it. But we made it an issue. Now it's a huge thing. Now you are so-called God-fearing president with their preacher wives. The deputy's president wife is a pastor. The president's wife, the first lady, she prayed for some well that was sorted, turned into clear water. The most spiritual people are the people who are now allowed LGBT. It's a non-issue. You should be caring more about not LGBT. You should be caring about changing your lives. How do we plant more trees in this country? How do we have more fruits? How do we get more land? How do we build? How do we come together as a corporation and we can go now to Rwanda and lease land in Rwanda because you're small-minded. You can go to Rwanda and lease land in Rwanda. You can go to Uganda. You can go to Tanzania as a corporation, business people. I saw that president of Tanzania saying kwa jirani kuna waka moto. Me, I was waiting for the next day to see the system collapsing. Huduma Center. Juu watu wana register corporations. Because when you register corporations, the bank gives you money. Now you go to Tanzania, we lease land and you grow. There's no that kind of thinking. Because Africans, you don't know how to build. You are still on that slave mentality. And religion is one of their biggest problems. But we need religion. Shout out to religion. Do your things religiously. It's always good to do your things religiously. Follow your religion. Your religion. Because their God is telling them to serve justice somewhere. They practice their rituals hardest. So they are serving justice somewhere. Their God. What about your God? What are you religious about? King Charles can kiss my ass. Shout out to Richard. King Charles is not coming for you. King Charles is coming because he's now the king. So we are in a new world. So the age of Pisces is gone. So during the Pisces age, the queen was first. That is why the president is the president and the first lady is called first. The first lady comes first. This colony is ruled by the queen. your president has a first lady. But your colony, the British colony, is ruled by the queen. When mnaendanga Kenyatta Avenue, there is a statue of 3 men. They say that those 3 men fought for your freedom. Sijui, those 3 men, they fought for World War. No. Those 3 sculptures are found around the world in top of buildings. In Tamprepet, they are on top of buildings. But they represent 3 different people. Iyo mchongo mnaona hapa Nairobi represents the queen, the priest, and who? The queen, the priest. Who is the other person? The queen, the prince. Why am I forgetting the third person? And the way you can know, uende kwa hiyo Nairobi, wao unaona ni wanajeshi. Yes, they look like the army, but if you look at one, utaona yeye ndiye queen, ana represent the woman. Utaona akona sandals za mwanamke, ama amebeba kitu ilikuwa inabebwa na mwanamke, ama the buttons of the coat are interchanged. You have to know how to look. One of them will have to represent the priest. So one of them will either be holding something that is religious or a rosary or something. But if you don't know how to look, wewe unapitanga tu hapo umebebwa kwa jamu, unaona walipigania uhuru. Walipigania uhuru. Those things are around the world. Okay? Those 3 statues are around the world on each and every city. They tell you where things are. I have to reply this message. We home. So now that the queen, remember the queen, should I be telling them this? This is too much information. Don't talk about the queen. Anyway, so prince is coming because now the queen is not in charge now. Ask yourself why she was the queen and the husband was not the king. Najua hujaijiuliza hivyo. Queen Elizabeth na bwana yake ni prince. Ai, si anafaa kuwa king? Hapana, huyu ni queen na bwana yake prince. Ai, aje sasa, si anafaa kuwa king, queen, and then the prince, the children because everything is not what you think it is. So now that the queen ameondolewa, sasa crown a prince. Now is the masculine ruling. I told you, look for the biggest loops you can find because it's about to get ugly. It's about to go down, but there's nowhere to run. Take it now. So you better have some lube. The prince is coming. King now. So we are now under a very masculine rulership. And the male have no mercy. The queen was a better queen. Alikuwa na huruma kidogo ni bibi. Sasa ndio mtajua hakuna huruma. And shout out to the prices of fuel going to 250 shillings by the end of November. You are my hero. You have made me to know myself and change my way of seeing things and thanking. I was only reminding you. Oh, there's no voice? I lost sound. Should have told me I lost sound. I end the live. Aina sound, No sound. Maybe I ran out of data. I've not renewed my Wi-Fi. So maybe I ran out of data. So if I ran out of data, we can do this live another day. We can do it another day. So what you think, what you are seeing is not what you think it is going on. So let me just touch a little bit before I end. Are we still live? Naona sound iko sawa. So now, war is nothing but what you can call population control or depopulating some mind states. Okay? So now, when people are stagnant or they are not building according to the people in the world, the people who are ruling the world, the people who run this worldview, if they see that you are idle, you are not building what you call, you are not building operatively, you are not doing things on the ground, you are doing them speculatively. Or you say, oh, we are a nation, or we are a free state, or we are doing this. But when they look at your area, there's no shops, there's nothing coming up, there's no vibrancy going there. So what do? They decide to level that sound. They decide to level that place. When they look at you, a large population of people who are not building, they come and they level the ground. Okay, that is what happens, because they look at you like you're not doing anything, so they are doing God's work. So that is what is happening in those lands. Remember, those people, they call themselves the God's people. They are the chosen one. Okay, they look at people like, okay, this is an urban area that should be developed. They look at Dubai, everyone is developing. Now they look at their brothers here. They're like, hey, you, what are you doing, guys? Gaza music is very good music. Gaza music. Shout out to the people who do Gaza music. What do we call them? Who was taken to jail because of playing Gaza. This is for the algorithm, because najua nimeongea vitu mingi sana nataka kufanya hii algorithm a little bit sane. Simunikumbushe Gaza music in Jamaica. Who went to jail? Who went to jail? Who went to jail in Jamaica because of music? Vybes Kartel. Yeah, Vybes Kartel, Gaza music. I needed that one. Shout out to Richard. That is very important for the algorithm. Gaza music, Vybes Kartel. So they look at Vybes Kartel. They're like, Vybes Kartel and Gaza. You're not doing anything. You're sitting in Vybes Kartel, Gaza. So we have to, come and flatten that Vybes Kartel, Gaza area. Vybes Kartel, Gaza, they were fighting with who? Remind me. Vybes Kartel and nani? So tuko na Gaza versus who? We have other people. It was Gaza versus? Remind me. The other people they are fighting with. So that we, tufanye damage control. Tumeongea vitu hatufai kuongea. You to square two shadow band, we need to do. Yeah, Gully side. Yeah, shout out to Kadha Joroge. Na Mavado and Gully side. So Gully side and Vybes Kartel, Gaza versus Gully side. So now, so Gully side comes and sees, so Mavado comes and sees Vybes Kartel is not developing Gaza. Unajua sasa tuko ile story huko kwenye wanapigana I want you to follow So Mavado nakuja naona, Vybes Kartel, Gaza, you're not doing anything with Gaza music. So Vybes Kartel comes with, Mavado comes with Gully side and they take over Gaza. Because Gaza with Vybes Kartel is not producing, okay? So there's no building there. There's no rap music coming. There's no raga coming out of that area, of that Jamaica. Jamaica, the land of my, you know what I'm saying? So understand that is what is happening. Okay, shout out to Anjiro. So this is what is happening. So ukiona wao inaendelea unajua ni Mavado. Mavado Gully side is fighting with Vybes Kartel of Gaza. But the reason they are fighting Vybes Kartel of Gaza music, Vybes Kartel, is because Vybes Kartel is not producing anything. So Vybes Kartel is sitting on this land, but the neighbor Mavado, Gully side, anaona we should be producing here. We make flowers in the world. We are God-chosen people. We need to expand in this territory, aka Gaza, Vybes Kartel. So what does Mavado do? So he decides to flatten Gaza, Vybes Kartel. Are you following? I hope you are following, because if you're not following, there's no way I can do this. So it happened in Japan. Japan was not producing anything, so they went to Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is a movie. Have you watched movie Pearl Harbor about Japan? So they went to Pearl Harbor, the movie, and they made them knock some sense into them. So now they are in Africa, Kenya, specifically Kenya. And since each location is beaten, kila watu wanapigangwa vita tofauti. So when they come to your country, wanawapiga hiyo vita munaona. So now mko na chakula itafanya mumee matiti. President wenyu amepeana misitu. Unajua si yeye anaambiwa. Amepeana parastato. Unajua si yeye has been shaking hands with the devil. Unajua? So oh my God. So shout out to everyone who came into the space. Tumetoka sun in Leo. You know my moon is in Leo, so I have to speak like that, okay? My moon is in Leo and the sun was in Leo. So now that the sun is in Virgo, it's about connecting. It's about health. It's about vitu kama hizo. So let's end the live. Sun in Virgo, Virgin Mary. So at this particular time, the sun is in the 6th house. So you're supposed to be connecting. Ndio maana mmeanza kutoka kazi. Ndio mnafunganga kazi saa 10. Between saa 10 na saa 12, it's Virgo. Virgo time, connecting, family, relating. Sixth house. What do we call the sixth house? Let me check my book here. It's just here next to me. Sixth house, health and well-being. So when the sun is in Virgo, sixth house is about health and well-being. Your well-being, you've been working. So now you're in traffic, going home. Unafikiria kila kitu ni coincidence. Tunatokea kazi saa 10. As above, so below. They practice the rituals hardest. That is why they even created a system for you. So they have a right to call themselves the children of God because you follow everything they gave you. So they can decide to practice anything they want on you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Ni sawa sawa. So shout out to Gaza, Vybes Kartel. Continue being overwhelmed by Gully side, aka Mavado, because you're not doing anything on your land, Vybes Kartel. And that is what is happening on the ground. It has got nothing to do with your petty Bible stories. Because the Bible is their book, it's their title. That's their book. They wrote the book. They wrote the 12 tribes of Judah na vitu kama hizo. It's their book, it's their title, it's their worldview, it's their world. And you're not invited. Sasa, shout out to Dr. J.K. Matinga. Shout out to your brother. Nabutaerio, man, I love it now. Dancehall. So yeah, so understand these things. Understand that nothing is a coincidence. Know when to practice your rituals hardest. Know when to do things hardest. Okay? Know when you're supposed to be everything that you're doing. They say no one knows the hour. We know the hour. When do you ujui? No one knows the coming of the Son of Man. We know the hour of the coming of the Son of Man. When do you ujui? Sibora Kanisa. And shout out to all the people preaching. Now, before I forget, I almost forgot. You are about to witness. Okay? You are about to witness the biggest comeback of religion like you have never seen it before. You are about to witness. They are about to turn their hearts upside down for your donation. They are about to turn those hearts upside because you need to give to the church. You have not been giving to the church. So they are going to come for all your cultures. Wacha hiyo watandaye. Wacha hiyo mnasema ati mehereka kenda. All you people, they are coming for you. Ndio maana uliona wameenda kutafuta Reinhard Bonke. They are about to turn it up when it comes to contributions in the churches. Itakuwa inakatwa kwa nguvu. Your president is going to sign a bill whereby you'll be charged for taxed for religion. Si mlisema mwezi toa tax? Mlisema bottoms hatuwezi toa tax, ikawekwa. Unajua hapana hatuwezi fanya, ikawekwa. Ya religion inakuja. Mark my words. It's coming. You'll be taxed for religion. That money will be used for the church. Kianguvu. Sasa. So shout out to everyone in the comments. Shout out to the subconscious community. Shout out to Aries man. Duilu the pilot man. Shout out to all my people. Jenga na Jenga. Shout out to all the people in the church. We love you. Everyone in the religion. I hate no one. Thou shalt not cast stones at me. Because I don't do the thou shalt take the message. Don't hate the messenger. I have my own commandments. You have your own 10 commandments. I have my own 5 commandments. Commandment number 1. Thou shalt not hate the messenger. Thou shalt take the message. Commandment number 2. Thou shalt not stone. Thou shalt not lift a stone as a bystander to stone me. It's in your Bible. Those are my commandments. Sasa. But if you want, you can try. If you want, you can try. You can cast stones at me. Najua siwezi ukataza. You can go ahead and try. Return to sender. No such number. Address unknown. She came and she told me. Return to sender. Shout out to everyone in the space. We love you all. Everyone can change. The greatest thing or the greatest gift you have as a spirit is the mind or the power to change your mind. You can always change your mind. And once you change your mind, you change the outcome of everything. You can change your mind to live a clean life. You can change your mind to start working hard. You can change your mind to start having better relationships. You have the power to change your mind. Don't let people change your mind, and don't let people use your mind in the wrong way. Your mind is the most powerful tool that you have, and God hates it when He sees you not using your mind, aka your spirit, aka your individuality, or aka your spirituality. Thank you for coming to Jenga na Jenga Esoteric Talk Show. Tayo.